I haven't seen Trina on one of these, so I'd just like to say welcome to Trina. So, shall we get started? Welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming. We learned about building a memory jogger a couple of weeks ago from Jake and Jenna Rude. They're out of North Carolina, I believe. A couple of really great speakers. They're probably one of the best speakers I've ever heard. And one of the systems they developed is a memory jogger. And that's what we're here to teach you about today. So pardon me, I do have some notes, and I do flip through them just so I am complete. Let me go to page 2 here. We do have a bit of an exercise this morning. So if you don't have a pen and paper handy, please take a moment. They went up. Maybe a phone as well. Because I want to teach you the basic skills on how to build a memory jogger. Does anyone use a memory jogger? Let me unmute all you folks. I know that Trina does because I investigated the software she was using just the other day. I thought it was pretty cool. Anybody else? Does anybody use the built-in address book inside Virtual Office?
I do.
I started out using it as well. Do you still use it?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you use it for?
The address book in the Virtual Office?
Yeah.
I actually inputted with the new Teamsy. I got to input my address book, so it is handy to have.
Yeah, for sure.
And it holds all of your old customers too, and everybody.
Yeah. I know when I first started, I followed through the exercise, and I probably put 200 people in there. But the difficulty I always had with it was that I didn't have a lot of ways of communicating with them. So I looked around for other ways of accomplishing that same task. Maybe I should have pursued it a little bit more, but I didn't. I'm wondering, is your memory jogger always available? Is it on your phone? Do you have it with you when you need it? It was one of my failings. I know that I didn't. One of my big fears about getting involved in the business was simply I was worried about running out of people to talk to. And I've learned some skills that made that kind of a foolish kind of a thought, but that was the way I thought when I first started. And that worry kind of stopped me from doing anything. I sat and thought about how to meet people rather than getting off my butt and meeting people. Well, that's the purpose of a memory jogger. It's to develop that skill, keep you talking to people, and to keep them moving up your list. Because it's all about relationship building. Probably somebody you meet in the supermarket isn't somebody you're going to meet and talk about Juice Plus with. If they bring up they have some health concerns, then absolutely take advantage of that advantage and talk to them about Juice Plus. But if you're just saying hello, don't be salesy and bring it up the first time you meet them. So I'd just like to take a couple minutes and do this exercise. Take a couple minutes and write down as many names as you can think of in 3 minutes. There's a couple of rules about it. Don't think about the person. Don't think about, do they need this? Or are they rich? Or are they somebody I don't want to talk to? Don't worry about it. Just write down their names. And don't worry, you don't have to immediately call them. That's not about something you're going to have to do when we finish this call. The idea is to get as many names as you can. So I'll show you my list a little bit later. I've been working on it the last week or so. There's probably 40 or 50 on there of people I really want to talk to. Go. I'll just take a minute. What's the snow like up in northern BC? Let me unmute you again, Trina.
Yeah, there's a lot. We have tons of it. I
We got
wish.
snow again over the weekend. I'm sure you probably got it a couple days earlier than that. It
Yeah,
was up to my knees on Friday, and it's up to my knees again today, Sunday. So,
in some places it's over my head.
yeah, I bet. I'd like to see that from a distance.
I'll take a picture for you.
The place where we're storing our RV is in Williams Lake, and they took a picture the other day, not of our RV, but of the snowplowing they've done, and the pile's about, I don't know, 18, 20 feet high. It's huge. It would actually probably cover the RV if they had done it that way. I'm going to move on here. Just with what I want to accomplish today, I want to get you started on building a list. If you haven't already accomplished that or started that, please continue. We'll learn about a way to categorize your contacts. Like I say, it's all about relationship building. So you want to move your contacts up the list so that you feel comfortable discussing Juice Plus with them at some point in time. And that may take a while. I know I have people on my list that I haven't talked to in the longest of time. So it's going to take, I'm thinking maybe a year, maybe two, to get to that point where I feel comfortable and they feel comfortable with me about talking about Juice Plus. One thing that I've also been pursuing in the last couple of weeks, even though I am a computer kind of guy, using the cloud. Dell and I have a cloud storage account and we use it extensively. But since I talked to Jake and Jenna, they recommend using Google, and it's Google Sheets for maintaining your contact list and Google Drive for maintaining where you store all your files. And I've been pursuing it, and it's very handy, very useful. And the big benefit is it's absolutely free. So that's what I'm going to pursue with you today, and recommend you follow up on Google. If you don't, all it takes to get started is a Gmail account. All it takes is a Gmail account, then you might want to continue, think about using that for your business, because you can kind of make it look like you're, you can put Juice Plus at whatever, gmail.com if you choose to. That's your business. Let's move along from Google here, though. So tips for finding people. By all means, social media contacts is the perfect place. If you didn't refer to your social media to write down a bunch of contact lists, please do so after this. On your phone, that's where I got 50 or 60 names. It was so simple. Didn't think about it, just wrote them down. I've joined a couple clubs, and I'm a volunteer in a couple organizations. And while it hasn't started yet, I am building some relationships with folks, and there will be a day when I bring up Juice Plus. Dell and I use the 3-foot rule quite a bit. If you're standing beside somebody, why not say hello and be friendly and smile and start a conversation with them? Tana, I know that you're in the arena quite a lot, and you probably already do this, but it's a great place to develop contacts. And one thing that Jake and Jenna Rude told us about is, pick up business cards from those boards that are in buildings and restaurants and advertised. That's what they're there for. They also made a comment about business cards, and I tend to agree with it now, is having your own business card is kind of a waste of time. I'm going to say it directly. Better if you're talking to somebody and they express an interest in Juice Plus, it's far better just to hand them your phone and say, would you mind putting in some contact information? I'd really like to get back to you. Because if you hand somebody their card, I almost guarantee 99 times out of 100, it's not even going to make it out of the store, and they'll throw it away or file it and never refer to it again. So you've completely wasted your effort, and you're not going to get the expected result. Another great place is a meetup group. Dell and I know Diane does this as well, goes to, it's an application that's on the internet. It's a meetup. And people have an interest and they set up a meetup group and they go discuss that meetup, that particular topic. The one that we've become involved with is a co-working group. And we've met quite a few people. There's a couple of coffees every week we get out of that meetup group. It's pretty useful. And lastly, of course, if you're exercising or talking, it's a great place to discuss Juice Plus. It'll come up. One thing about creating a memory jogger is if you're still not using a computer to maintain a memory list, a memory jogger, well, you're doing it the hard way. But I'm not going to put you off using a memory jogger. You have to have one, I believe. So if that's your preference, then please continue. But I certainly recommend going to a spreadsheet. It could be Excel, and I highly recommend the use of Google Sheets. It's not that tough. Something that was very hard to get over for me, because I tend to overthink everything. It's far more important to act than it is to think about something. Don't sit down and worry about something, just simply do it. It gets rid of all that stress. It's an amazing, amazing thing. I'll come back to this point once we've started the memory jogger, but what you want to do is code the people that you've entered. Want to use a green, yellow, red system. Green's for friends. Yellow's for acquaintances, people that you don't quite feel comfortable discussing Juice Plus with. And red is for those folks that you used to know in high school or something that you haven't talked to in the longest of times. And it would be totally inappropriate to bring up Juice Plus on your first conversation with them because it would seem so salesy. The last step is, when you're categorizing people on your memory jogger, is to star those people that need Juice Plus products. If somebody mentions they have aches and pains, or they're not feeling well, or their kids are sick, or whatever, that's somebody that needs to hear about Juice Plus, and give them a star. It's really important not to be salesy and to take some time to build a relationship before building a business. When you're using your memory jogger, the goal is to make everybody green. So over time, over several conversations, they go from red to yellow to green, and that's the point where you feel comfortable discussing Juice Plus with them. I'll show you what this last point means here momentarily. After you've categorized everybody with the colors, and you've added stars to them, the stars are the people that need to hear about Juice Plus, you can filter, you can sort your list, and you'll sort your list so that the greens are at the top, the stars are at the top, and those are the people you talk to first. And I did this recently, and it was quite amazing that I had, well, 6 or 8 people I have to talk to that week. So I saw quite immediate results. This is pretty much why I moved away from the address book. It's a handy place to store addresses for future customers, for sure. There's no question about it in my mind. But it has limited communications office options. I haven't figured out a way to categorize, and I haven't figured out a way to export people from your list. Although Trina might have found that way because she uses another application now. I moved away from the address book. Well, it took a while. I did try to stick with it, but I think there's a better way out there, and that's the one that Jake and Jenna showed us about. This is just a screenshot of my memory jogger that I built in. First time I built it in Excel, and I did some more research, like I say, about Google Sheets, and I found it even better. So I've moved it into Google Sheets, and I'll try and show you that in a minute. But this is exactly what Jake and Jenna showed us at that course. What you do is enter a person's name, the obvious connection with them, and this is a club I belong to, and you enter where you know them from, what their health journey is so far. In this particular case, I really don't know. I haven't talked to them in the longest of times, but I'm going to go up and talk to them about a membership, start the conversation about building a relationship. And that's what this next step is for this particular bind-ins. I haven't talked to them in the longest of time, so I don't feel comfortable bringing up Juice Plus. So I categorize them as a red. I don't know what their health journey is, so they don't have a star here. And this is my idea because I hate maintaining people's names in multiple locations. It just drives me crazy because I lose it, and I just find it completely inefficient. So all I did was write down where their contact information is. And since it's your memory jogger, use it how you will. If you want to enter contact information there, have at it. I'll certainly provide you a template of this memory jogger when this video is concluded. There's just a bit of an explanation down the bottom. One we've already talked to. The greens are for close family and friends. The yellows are for in your network and knows your name, but you wouldn't call or text them. And the red relationship is, last time I talked to them was years ago, and it's just not the point to talk to them about the business. Oops, I want to go back. Hang on a second. I want to talk a little bit about that bottom of that last sheet, where it talks about ask questions, identify connections, and invite to learn more. And that's the process. When you first talk to somebody, be interested. Don't attempt to be interesting. So ask them questions about their health, their family. Just talk, have a conversation, start a conversation. And while you're doing that, you're identifying connections. What do you have in common with them? You might not have heard Della, but she said it's about getting them to talk. And then finally, it's invite them to learn more about Juice Plus. But it's kind of a continuum. You might have to, when you invite somebody to learn more and they're not quite interested, not quite ready, then take a step back and try to identify some more connections, or take a step back even further and ask a few more questions. So it's a continuum. Keep at it is the point. It's kind of a graphic about the way things work, asking questions, identifying connections, and inviting people to learn more. Pretty self-explanatory, so I think I'll move along. So in order to make it happen, what I recommend is get yourself a Gmail account. Start using Google Drive and Google Sheets. It's really pretty simple. If you need some assistance, I'm happy to set up a Zoom with you and get you started, because it is pretty good. We originally started using Dropbox, which is a cloud filing system. It's very useful for us, and Excel, because we have Excel installed locally on all our computers. But Google Sheets is on the cloud. It's so simple. It's available from every device you have, as long as you can get to the internet. So it's going to work. So it's better than Excel for sure, and it's free. It's cheap. So wherever you are that you have access to Wi-Fi, you have your information. It's pretty slick. Trina mentioned this earlier, that the address system in Virtual Office is a great place to keep track of current and past customers. I agree completely. And my recommendation is don't give up on your past customers. I know I haven't. For whatever reason they stopped taking Juice Plus, it's probably because they weren't taking it every day and they didn't see the results. But there will probably be a time when their aches and pains are continuing, and you can coach them back into the use of Juice Plus. We put inactive team members in there because for exactly that same reason. We don't want to ever forget somebody. There will be a day when they will become interested again. So it's all about building relationships and staying in touch. One thing I've certainly found with use of a memory jogger is that it makes me more efficient with my time. I don't want to spend all day thinking of people to call and calling them. But when I write it down, it gives me a list of people I must call that are green and have a star beside their name. So I call them. It makes it simple. I make my contacts every day. Jake Rude contacts 10 people every day. And I've not made that level, of course, yet. But what a great goal. Just talk to 10 people every day. Wow, simple. The beauty of it, having electronically is you can sort it. And you've seen me sort the greens to the top and the people with the stars to the top. So it's really simple. You're never stuck. Just continue to try to turn people green. It might take some time, but what else you doing? Of course, our ultimate goal is to invite people to hear our Juice Plus story, to get them to events, to get them to three-way Zooms or meetings, get them to educational events, and see what their interests are if they want to pursue Juice Plus, either as a product or better yet, as a business. Jenna Rude said this, that people with the highest social IQ are best at this business. So that is not me. I'm first to admit it, but I am working on it. I am improving. They also recommended that always have something to invite people to. And that could be your own events or your team events, or if your team doesn't have a lot of events that month, make up your own. And there's a lot of different things we can talk about as far as making up your own. I know that that's been a big success of Della and myself and Diane lately. We have 5 or 6 events this month, and 5 of them are ours, and the other one's Beaver Tails. Jake and Jenna were great at coming up. They were not 30 years old, and they were pretty sharp folks. And Jenna was very good at talking to folks, and she came up with a lot of different suggestions for us. And this will be available in the recording, so I'm not going to read it to you, but there's a lot of different scripts. You have to feel comfortable. This has been my experience with scripts. I tried them at one time, but I didn't feel comfortable, so it sounded not authentic. So you have to sound authentic. You have to use words that you're happy using. You have to be real, or otherwise people are going to see through you and they're not going to believe you. They made some recommendations to us that I thought I'd pass along to you because I thought they were great. And you've probably all experienced this yourselves. As soon as you mention the name Juice Plus, people get on the internet and they Google it and they see those 8 or 10 negative folks that say that it doesn't work, it's all BS. Not the 5,000 people that love it, that it helps. So people tend to be kind of negative, so don't mention Juice Plus right off the bat. Rather start off using words like, I'd like to collaborate with you, I'm a leader in the healthy living revolution. And then over time mention Juice Plus. Jenna was great at this. She demoed it a couple of times. She used the terminology like this: if we could chat next week, would you be open to talk so I can learn more about you and what you do? You know, it just opens the gate to talk more about that person. And don't be discouraged. There are lots of people that are, excuse me, there are lots of people that are not yet ready to hear the message, but keep at it and tell them that. If not, no worries. Don't compromise relationships ever. It was a lesson I learned a long time ago when I had an employer that folded, and a lot of the guys that were there were grumpy about it and ran them down. And I can probably say 90% of them lived to regret it. It was just better to walk away and just accept it. I wanted to provide you with a couple of well, 3 to be specific, resources that you might want to refer to. And I've already posted these on the event. Jake and Jenna Rude's Memory Jogger, they did a video of it on YouTube, and they're really entertaining, so I recommend that you go and take a peek at it. There's also something they pointed out, the website missiondrivenmodel.info, that I've investigated a little bit, and I find it really useful. I wasn't aware of it, so. And then Trina's upline told us about this, listening the magic keys, which I've heard several times, and I refer to it pretty regular, because her message is it's all about listening, it's all about talking, and the goal is not to be interesting, but to be interested. So highly recommend. If you go and see anything, go listen to Carol, and she's improved it of late, so it's a lot easier to listen to. It sounds a little negative, but it's not meant to be. I'm just going to unmute everybody just in case you have any questions. My Zoom account is a free one, so I tend to go real quick. Diane's unmutable, so I can't help her. Does anybody have any questions?
No, but that was awesome. Thank you.
Really good, Mark.
You are welcome. It is a skill I'm developing. I'm not great at it yet, but it's like everything. You start, and it's better just to start than it is to think about it and worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
If there are no questions, then I just want to say thank you. I hope you all enjoy Sunday. We sure appreciate you attending, and the recording of this will be up there soon. So if it's valuable to you or your team, please pass it along.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, and see you all soon.
Thank you, Mark.
See you all in Banff.
See you there.
Bye.
And I'm getting the boot right now. So bye now.